Namaste, namaste. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Satguru Sri Muji Ji ki Jai. Oh, are we going to finish Ashtavakra this time? Not this time, as in today, but in this series, I feel we might. Hmm? The really big one is chapter 18. So, some 100 verses, yes. So we are at 15. Anyone know where we are? 15? Verse 13. Okay, thank you, Nitya. No, not that. In you who are one, in you who are one, immaculate, still awareness, from where can birth, action, or a separate person arise? In you who are one, immaculate, still awareness, from where can birth, action, or a separate person arise? This is, the sage has constantly made a distinction right from the beginning between reality and appearance. What is real? And to help us, he also gave us the meaning of reality. He said that which does not come and go. At least in Satsang, we call that a reality, and that which is coming and going is called an appearance. And over, what we check is that this reality, this self, this awareness is that which does not come and go. I posted over the weekend that it's so beautiful that even in its denial, it only affirms itself. It only confirms itself. If you say, I am not aware, what you are actually saying is that I am aware, or I know that I am not aware. This awareness, this knowingness is not a coming and going. It is the constant witness of all that comes and goes. So if reality is that which does not come and go, then where is the person? That which we consider ourselves to be is actually the opposite of this. If this does not come and go, the person actually is never here. It is just an idea. Just digest this for a few moments. Just look at this beautiful play, that which we have considered ourselves to be is never truly found. And that which is always here, we seem to be looking for that. And this would be really a very funny joke, except that it seems to cause so much suffering. You cannot pose as, pretend to be something limited unless you believe a limited notion about yourself. Therefore, it is not your original, it is not your natural state. And I'm speaking about you right now. What is your original state right now? Even if we leave aside what is real and unreal, who is it that is the cognizer? Who is it that witnesses all of this movement? Even if we don't worry about whether it is real or not, what is it that witnesses it? Whatever might be the situation of the world, the true position or the untrue position of the world, what is the position of the perceiver of this world? Who is it that witnesses the thoughts and that space between two thoughts? What is the shape of you? To quote a very popular pop song. In you who are one, immaculate, still awareness, from where can birth, action, or a separate person arise? Birth itself means what? It's a coming, isn't it? So if you were born, then you cannot be that which is beyond coming and going. If you will die, you cannot be beyond death. Can we find this birthless, deathless one? All the clues in the Ashtavakra, all the clues in Satsang are for this discovery. That is why I posted this quote from the Bhagavad Gita yesterday, where Krishna said that I am sharing that, knowing which you will come to your immortality. It is no small promise. You see? So don't let the regularness of satsang fool you. It is something which is being pointed at, that which you will know with a capital K know, not mentally know or perceptually know, but that knowing which is beyond play of the world, beyond the play of birth and death. That's why Sri Krishna said, sharing that, knowing which you will come to your immortality, to that Brahman. Brahman means the absolute self, this awareness that we speak of, which is beyond even being and non-being. The presence of consciousness or the absence of consciousness, the presence of this universe or the absence of it, this is what is being pointed to. So what is prior to birth? From where can birth, action, or a separate person arise? Action means the idea of this separate person, this individual doer that was born and then did a particular set of actions and then died. That is our idea about who we are. I was born as a separate entity. I had some doership and some desires. I did some things and then ultimately I died. But the sages have reminded us over and over again, you are not this. You are deathless and you are the unborn. Even if you go to the past and remember a moment from the past, if you look for your true position, you will find that you were the witness of it. You were neither the doer nor the experiencer of everything that happened on the screen of this movie. And even if you project a future outward, even in that, you cannot step away from your true position, which is the witnessing. Why do I say witnessing and not the witness? Because I know that the term witness can imply as if there is an entity there. See, that's why the sages over and over they use this example that the rope has been confused to be a snake. But when truly examined, we find that there is no snake. You see? That is why this one is an even more beautiful example than the wave in the ocean. Why? Because in the wave in the ocean, at least you have the feeling that at least there is an arising of an individual wave, which you can point to and say, hey, this is what I am. But in the rope and the snake, there is no such arising. It is a pure misunderstanding. And although it seems to be qualitatively present, there is no denial that consciousness appears, arises. Yet, when truly examined, we find that all that is here is this awareness, this knowingness. So, what if we were to throw away all concepts and not be concerned about any appearance that does not point us to the truth? What if we were to throw away everything that does not point us to this ultimate reality? And now we have enough clues to know what is it that it is meant by when we say ultimate reality. The Guru is supposed to be the dispeller of darkness, the dispeller of ignorance, and the bringer of light. What is this light? The light of true knowledge. So, ignorance must be that which points to that which is untrue about us. Agreed? Ignorance must be that which shows us something which is untrue about us. And knowledge must be that which points us to that which is true about us. And this truth, you don't have to rely on somebody's statement about it, not even Krishna's. You have to rely on your own inner intuitive recognition, which I call insight. And we did a raising of hands the other day, and most of you said that when I check, I find that this is true about me. And most of you said, every time I check, I find that the words of the sage are true. Therefore, now, ignorance must mean that which is pointing to something which is untrue in my intuitive recognition, in my inner insight about myself. And that is the reason why I say, don't believe your next thought. Because it is just buying into ignorance. The ignorance of separation, the ignorance of duality, doership, and desire Whatever you perceive is you and you alone. How can bracelets, armlets, and anklets be other than the gold that they are made of? Whatever you perceive is you and you alone, and both the yous are in capitals. How can bracelets, armlets, and anklets be other than the gold that they are made of? What is the substance of this universe? It is you. Fullness arises from fullness, and yet fullness remains full. This infinite play of consciousness arises within awareness, which itself is infinite. And yet, in the arising of this consciousness, awareness remains untouched and complete as before. Therefore, this entire play of consciousness must be made up of awareness alone. I am aware, and most intimately, then, when the play of phenomena is here, I am aware of my existence. There is nothing closer than this. And your existence is the substance of this apparent universe. From your experience, you have no trouble with this. You cannot have the experience of any object unless you are aware of your existence. Without existence, without being, without I am, there is no phenomenon. And who is being? You are. That is why it is I am. Confirm your existence. And I know the trick of the mind, which is that every time you hear this, the mind can come and say, I'm not really sure whether it is the same existence that I am finding that he is speaking about. Because mind seems so limited. But if you were to truly investigate this, you will find that this existence that you are calling limited right now has no limitation. We can have the idea that it is limited within my body. We can have the idea that it is in my physical heart. But upon investigation, all these ideas, they fall away. then you start to see that it is actually all of these sensations and experiences and visuals and sounds that are contained within this. Attention never leaves my being. And from there you can say words like this, which is, whatever you perceive is you and you alone. How can bracelets, armlets, and anklets be other than the gold that they are made of? Leave behind such distinctions as I am he, the self, and I am not this. Consider everything the self. Be desireless. Be happy. Don't even make any distinction. Don't label anything now. What the sage is pointing to is a mental, conceptual knowledge which must be dropped now. He's saying leave these distinctions. Don't become a conceptual Advaitin going around saying that I am awareness. Just conceptually. If these words have to emerge, they will emerge. If this tongue has to be used in that way, it will be used in that way. But the fragrance that will accompany these words will not smell of concept anymore. So drop all mental distinction and consider everything the self. How to consider everything as a self? If the thought is the voice of limitation, then as we are empty of this egoic belief, then automatically you find that there is no separation. So you don't have to work towards considering everything the self. You will find that that is your natural insight, your intuitive insight. Yes.
So, that awareness, and we have objects appear, coming and going, am I in a different dimension because things are just happening like now? These sounds are just coming on their own. My hands are, so I actually don't have any control.
Maybe a little louder so they can hear you.
So,
So what he said so far, and you can also stop me if I'm making a mistake in hearing. You say, when I am awareness, then I see that this entire play is coming and going. My hands are moving. The sounds are just coming and going. Then,
there is a sense of no control
yeah,
in anything.
yeah.
It's a bit unsettling.
Unsettling. Yes, it is a bit unsettling. It's true. It is a bit unsettling. That's why many times I say like this, that it can be a bit shaky because this happens when you're switching over from the false perspective to the true perspective. So it is like the shakiness because we held on to a lot of crutches which are now being left aside. So it can feel like, but I'm not moving anything. My hands are moving. My mouth is moving. Is it? This which I considered my hands, my mouth, it is just moving just like every appearance is moving in this world. And this recognition that there is no sense of individual control here, can be a bit unsettling.
So that means all that is coming and going, is that in a different dimension or
Yes.
is it the same?
Yes. All that is coming and going, you are beyond that, beyond the time and space, and whether you call it dimension of this phenomenal appearance, you are much beyond that, and yet all of this is not outside of you. Is it? I was saying the other day that the distinction between father and son, although they are one, is that the son comes from the father, father does not come from the son. So, this awareness, the source of even being, the source of consciousness, is what you are. Is it? Now, time and space, dimensions, all of that is post. So, you cannot be contained in anything which comes after you.
It also means that I can do nothing in the phenomenal world, technically speaking.
Yes, not in the way that we thought about doing.
Yeah, yes. Right? I mean, as in,
All of this is your doing as you as consciousness. You as awareness remain untouched by any doing and non-doing. And you personally never existed, so never did anything. It was just consciousness playing with the belief of individual doership. So only question I will ask you then is when you say when I am awareness, is there a time when you're not? There is no such time. So this doesn't only apply to that moment in which we have the recognition, but the recognition is of that which is always true. Your ignorance alone creates the universe. In reality, one alone exists. There is no person or God other than you. Your ignorance alone creates the universe. In reality, one alone exists. There is no person or God other than you. Can we hear these words? Ignorance is that which we discussed earlier, which is the opposite, the seeming opposite of reality. So it is the play of that coming and going. So this universe also is a coming and going. This universe is part of one of the four states that we can experience. See, it is not even the entirety of our experience. It is just one of the four states that we experience if we make the distinction between waking and dream. See? So in the waking state, this universe, in the dream state, some other universe, in the sleep state, no universe. And some of us, when you experience something like Turiya, where there can be some sense of existence, but without the appearance of a apparent universe. Don't worry about that. So just this to see that between this time that I call waking up and this time that I call going to sleep, we experience one universe, which is one of the four states which can be experienced here. So your ignorance creates the universe is the idea that there is a universe which contains me and all this subject object relationships in this apparent play are real. As you begin to rest in your reality, you will become more and more comfortable with saying, but none of this has ever happened. And knowing fully well that even this statement can be made only within the play of consciousness. And yet, there will be more comfort about saying these kind of things. Because you see that your true reality is untouched by this play of movement, play of consciousness. In reality, one alone exists. And which one is this? There is no person or God other than you. This you is that which contains every experience that you can fathom. So please don't fall for this silly mind trick which tells you, oh, but if it's only me, then that's very lonely. You are the source of all the multiverses. There's nothing to be lonely. You are that in which all this play is happening. You are that supreme intelligence which has designed this entire play. One who knows for certain that the universe is illusion, can no thing becomes desireless, pure awareness, and finds peace in the existence of nothing. One who knows for certain that the universe is illusion, and no thing becomes desireless, pure awareness, and finds peace in the existence of nothing. Again, certain that the universe is illusion from which perspective? From that definition of reality which was previously defined, which is that it is our direct experience, our inner insight, intuitive discovery, and yet it is something which does not come and go. So, what stands up to this definition of reality? Only the self. From that perspective, then all that is coming and going is referred to as illusion. Maya says, Father, there is no sense at all of identity in consciousness or awareness. So it feels so strange when they say you, yes, but it's not other or another also. Yes. No question. Yes, it can feel a bit strange because you doesn't apply. They themselves have said that there are no two. So what would there be a I and a you? So just a reminder that even these scriptures are part of this play, which are giving you those concepts, which are getting rid of all the concepts of separation actually. That's why that the dream alarm clock analogy or metaphor is very useful. These scriptures, the voice of the Sadguru, is that alarm clock in the dream to remind us you are not this that you consider yourself to be. That is why it is you. Just because it is a reminder that consciousness has made for itself the reminder that there is no me and you is only also for the apparent you. When this apparent you, this individualized I, it is dissolving, then it will sound strange, all these terms. It's true. One who knows for certain that the universe is illusion and no thing becomes desireless, pure awareness, and finds peace in the existence of nothing. Desire is what? Desire is that idea that there is a me and I want something to be mine. Only if there is an individual me can there be an idea of mine. So when it is seen that all of this is a coming and going, and actually you remain untouched by it, or it is seen that all of this is contained within my being, what is here for me to desire? So now, in the appearance, if there are lots of things or there is nothing, it truly makes no difference to the self. This recognition is peace. This non-resistance to whatever might be appearing in the world, this non-resistance to whatever might be appearing in the world is peace. In the ocean of existence, only one is, was, and ever will be. You are neither bound nor free. Live content and happy. In the ocean of existence, only one is, was, and ever will be. You are neither bound nor free. We've discussed this so many times, especially this time since I started sharing Satsang again, where we looked and we saw that before you pick up the problem of trying to find freedom, can you at least confirm your bondage? Before we pick up the idea that I must find this freedom, let's at least confirm that you are bound. So most of satsang is this, isn't it? You're saying, Father, Father, get me out of here. I'm stuck. I'm bound. And I'm saying, show me the prison. There's an ancient example like this somewhere. Maybe Guruji tells a story like that. I'm saying, show me the prison. You say, but I've been inside this prison for so long. What do you mean there is no prison? I say, okay, humor me. Humor me for a minute and show me one bar of this prison. You say, no, 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 this is just, it cannot be true. Can it be that simple? All of us, then you get the others into the picture. It's not just me in this prison, but there are so many of us. We are all stuck. What do you mean there is no prison? So, all of satsang is just about this. Can you confirm who it is that is stuck in this prison? That one is bound. We will get it with freedom. But can we at least show that one? Produce that one? Then you say, no, I'm not finding it. But my mind is saying I'm bound. The mind is saying I'm limited. The mind is saying I want this. The mind is saying I must do this. That's why I say, okay, for some time, don't believe what the mind is saying. You check for yourself. And then we play this game for whatever period of time, which is but my mind, but my mind, but my mind. In one way or the other, but the mind, but. And ultimately, after taking out all this but, and you say, oh, it's always been just this. Isn't this the whole game actually? You have believed yourself to be an imaginary limitation, an imaginary person, an imaginary prison. Then your intuitive presence, in one way or the other, gets through to you and says, but who are you that is bound? Then you find that there is no such thing. Then, for a few minutes, hours, weeks, or centuries, we play the game of but my mind. And then we'll come to this simple piece, this simple recognition that there was nobody here who could have been bound. But, that's very good. So the sage says, do not stir the mind with yes or no. You are pure consciousness. Be still and abide in the bliss of self. He caught on very well. He's also used to it, obviously. So he recognizes that even when something is shared in satsang, the mind still gets our belief in terms of its either confirmation or rejection. And he's saying, be empty even of that. Because it is the voice of this judge, the mind playing as the judge, saying yes, yes, no, no, which also keeps us in check in a way. Still believing that we need to rely on this mental confirmation, what I call the mind certificate. Especially about the words of satsang. It's really funny. When we go to the mind with the words of satsang for its confirmation, it's like taking Einstein's words and going to a 3-year-old and saying, what do you think about this theory of relativity? Yes, yes, Pa. No, no. What does the mind know about what the sage is saying? Has no idea. Do not stir the mind with yes or no. You are pure consciousness. Be still and abide in the bliss of self. Give up completely all contemplation. Okay. Give up completely all contemplation. Hold nothing in the mind or heart. You are the self, forever free. Of what use is thinking to you? Of what use is thinking to you? So we were saying the other day that what is the usual usage of the term contemplation? The usual usage of the term contemplation is that I'm going to think about it. I'm going to take a particular topic and I'm going to think about it. What do we call contemplation? What we call contemplation is coming to this inner insight more like a intuitive recognition, which in fact all the words of the sage so far have been used to guide us to. So then the sage at the end of chapter 15, after hearing hundreds of verses, is basically sharing his version of drop the search. Because he recognizes that many times all that is keeping the ego alive is the seeker identity itself. Hold nothing in the mind or heart. You are the self, forever free. It is here that we can, all of you know that one of my favorite words is open. When we remain empty of any preconceived notions, we remain empty of any belief system about ourselves, and we are open. We let go of everything. Now, when we let go of everything, does the truth also go? Is it? Then that which must be holding on to must be false. If the truth by definition is not coming and going, then does it need holding on to? This is important. If we have said reality is not coming and going, then to hold on only means to try and prevent the going of something. So if it can go, it cannot be the truth. So as we let go everything, are you also gone? All that you have considered yourself to be is gone. That which I call the basket of beliefs, the, the tools of identity, all of these are gone. But you witness this going also. You are the witness of this unburdening of consciousness, brushing off all the conceptual knowledge, brushing off the basis of identity, the dust of ideas, and you remain to see the beauty of this pure consciousness, unassociated by duality and doership and desire. No longer the bewildered, burdened beast that the sage called a person, but now this consciousness, empty of personal conditioning, which cannot remain unless consciousness still decides to hold on to something. Open and empty. Open is empty. Empty is open. No grievance can survive. No guilt can survive. No specialness can survive. No seeker can survive. No journey can survive. Yet you remain as the self. Shanti says, it is hard to give up this last attachment, which is enjoying the knowledge of self for self. I come to satsang because of the joy of this recognition. Yet, if it was taken away, there would still be this pure knowledge with a capital K. But attachment to the Guru and satsang is so sweet. Actually, in your report itself, it is clear that what you say is that even if this was to go away, I know that I would be the self. Nothing real would be taken away from me. So that itself means that you are starting to witness this entire play as a movement of consciousness, and consciousness playing both the roles of coming to satsang and sharing satsang. All of this is the one play of consciousness. You are also starting to see that all this idea of coming to satsang because or deciding to come or not come, all of this is more or less getting wiped away now because you see it all as a movement of consciousness. So why do you come to satsang? You don't know. Why do I share satsang? I don't know. I can give some answer, but I don't really know. So from this not mental knowing, there is trust in this grace about how all of this has moved, and great wonder about how this play functions. Then you say something very beautiful, which is attachment to the Guru and Satsang is so sweet. It is a rare, sweet attachment. Rare, sweet attachment. Like Guruji says, if you have to be attached to something in this world, be attached to the Master, because even this attachment is his problem now. The Master takes care of all our attachments, including this, which can seem like it is the final attachment. As long as it can seem like there is a me and there is my guru, then best, if there has to be an attachment, let it be to that one. Then you will see that there is no real, not that then you will see it, already I know you see it, but in the worldly play, I know that this feeling can seem so sweet. And I've said also that if there are a few attachments that remain here, it is to Guruji, for this Sangha, and to my physical phenomenal family. There is some attachment which continues to play out, knowing fully well that all of this is also his problem. It's been such a great blessing to move away from all this painful attachment to come to this beautiful point where we can even say that this attachment is so sweet. A visual is coming to me, so I'll share from that. I think many times the mind can also play this trick that you better drop this attachment to the Guru, because it will come and say, ah, I know it's not necessarily for Shanti, but I'm just sharing for everyone. Where it's like saying that we feel like we are drowning in the ocean and we are holding on to some rocks or some seaweed or something, trying to keep ourselves from drowning. And then the master comes and he gives out his hand. He's sitting in a boat, so he gives out his hand. And the master says, let go of everything else, hold my hand. And then the mind will come and say, but you have to let go of everything. And then you not only let go of the seaweed and the rocks, but you also let go of the master's hand. See, that's why Guruji said that even this one is his problem. When he knows that we are safely at shore, then he will let us go. So we remain empty of all other worldly attachments. If you find that there is attachment for the Guru, then even this attachment is his problem. As we empty our hands of phenomenal attachments, when we become open like this, that is when actually the Guru is holding our hand. And this hand is not let go of in a worldly way. This hand holding actually becomes a communion or a merging. Beautiful, beautiful report and question. Thank you. Amaya says, so it seems that's the only way to find this no identity, true you he speaks of, is that I remain when all else is gone. The no word I is needed or even felt. What he calls you, actually, yes. Yes. What remains is just this. Awareness without any separation, any I or you. And yet, the discovery of is the intimate discovery that we are making about ourselves. This is a beautiful distinction because many times it can happen in the world that we come across a worldly object, you see, and we get very besotted by it. So then also we can have this feeling of forgetting about ourselves, our limited self. Like it is, in India, it is said, "जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या," which means when you are in love, then what is there to fear? And people have been known to give up their lives in love and these kind of things. You see that kind of phenomenal love. So when we come to the discovery of this awareness, you see, it is not a discovery like that we discover something outer, and because of that we forget about the limited self. Here we are discovering something which is so intimately I, closer than anything has ever been, that we are forgetting about the limited self. And because it is this self that is being discovered, it is unlike a worldly infatuation, you see, because it is not coming and going. It's very beautiful, isn't it? So our experience of fearlessness, desirelessness, has been in the past because of our infatuation with the worldly object. And we experience this kind of fearlessness or courage, it has been because of our letting go of our limited selves, because we got so devoted or infatuated with an outside object. Here, what you're finding is that this innermost truth about your own being, in fact, prior to even being, that which is not coming and going, which is not changing, is it? And consciousness is discovering the immaculate nature of its own source and letting go of the fear and the desires of the limited self. And this actually fits in very well even with what Shanti was saying earlier, which is that the outer guru might seem to come in an external form, and there can be some time where we feel like we've become so attached to that, and that actually has brought us so much peace in our life. But this will be the only external attachment which will lead you to your own inner discovery. That is the true function of the master. In India, actually, currently there's a lot of controversy around some masters and all the stories of exploitation and things like that. So this is how you do your due diligence. If we're speaking just worldly for a minute, this is how you check. Is the master's presence? Is the master's words? Do they have the fragrance of my own inner being? Are they pointing me to that unchanging reality that I am? Are they saying that the outer master is just a representation of your inner holy presence? And initially, when we come to satsang, we smell like this What is the fragrance around a being? In this, you will find that the words that are being spoken, many have reported also like this in Satsang, isn't it? That wow, you are, before the words are emerging from your mouth, I'm already hearing them. Some have reported like this. Some have said that you're answering all the questions which I had without my even asking them. Some are saying that I find that what I'm discovering as you is my own presence, my own heart. All of this, the sense of coming home, the sense of being at peace, all of this is how you come to this beautiful recognition. Such is the play of this world, isn't it? In India, actually, all the news channels, everybody on Facebook, everybody is saying, "We must come to the end of this guru business. We must come because so this big case and all that is happening, and lots of riots happened. People were killed because one guru has been sent to jail. So a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of feeling of betrayal is here in the country at the moment. Many times it can happen that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. These cycles are always there in this world, with ups and downs. That is why it is good actually to have some basic moral guidelines, even in satsang. And here from the beginning, I've announced that if you find any sort of exploitation, be it physical, mental, emotional, any sort of exploitation, you must come up in satsang, in the open satsang, and share that and say that this is my feeling here and expose that openly. And I feel like all those who are sharing satsang must have this kind of openness in their sanghas now. I feel like those times of where these old Buddhist sects and these very secretive sort of sanghas and these things, I feel like, well, we can't truly make any final conclusion, but my feeling is to say we must go beyond those things now and just openly share if there is any feeling of exploitation or resentment. We must bring it out in the light. Okay, chapter 16 is not really a small one, so we won't start that today. If there are any questions, we can look at those. This child, Shivani, Shivani from Australia, she says, Father, you exploit my laughter muscles on a regular basis. Please stop. Cheeky monkey. Where is she? I don't even see her. Yeah. Nancy says, Father, even the message in The Wizard of Oz is Dorothy was searching for happiness outside herself and everything was there at home. Yes. She realized that when she woke up in bed. In fact, the most popular stories have always had this kind of message. I've often, not in broadcast, not so often, but often I speak about these kung fu movies And most of these kung fu movies have the same ending. You see, it's a formula, the same formula about how the hero, the protagonist, is trying to uh, fight his way through all the struggles in life, but he's a terrible learner. So he's not learning the tricks of kung fu. The masters are trying to tell him he's just terrible. Every time he gets into a fight, he gets beaten up. Till at the end, what happens in at least every kung fu movie that I've seen, it's always like this. He comes to that moment of self-discovery, and then what happens? He lets go, and then all the moves are happening on their own. Time, time, all the blocking. This, so it is just this. We struggle to try and make sense of this life, to live this life, to control this life. And then we see that all of this is just a movement of consciousness. I am that one, which is the source of this life. And then this body is let go. A beautiful message, because it's not saying that the body just gives up and becomes like a rock. Everything that needs to move moves. So all this is like this. You take any of these movies, including even movies like The Matrix, are like this. It's about this discovery of the self, not trying to control this life or control this body or this world in any way. So all the truly popular stories, I feel, have the same spiritual message at the core. Okay, on that fun note, thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Modi Ji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki
Jai.